is the prevalence of Zerg players who are just sitting on hatchery tech forever and being successful.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, this is a different way to play, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty, you know, it was socially arrogant of all of us to kind of assume that Zerg got figured out in the first 3 or 4 months of the game. I think there's 10 years of figuring out Zerg in particular, but really all the races. So get that third queen out. I would like to have had you have a tumor down at the natural. As you can see, you've used up all your larvae and you're still floating 300 minerals here. So probably get back on the gas. You did see that Stargate, so that's very, very nice. Good read. I would fear the Void Ray first, but honestly, you're looking for the Phoenix as well. And then, you know, once you now know that there is Stargate play at foot, you can comfortably, exactly, engineering or evolution chamber, probably a second gas. Still droning hard though. That's the thing. We don't want to freak out.
Yeah, he's not going to have any ground army to speak of, or not for a while.
No ground army, and you know, if it is a Void Ray first, it's not coming out at light speed. It's going to make its way across the map, and right now you see it. There it is. So get your queens together. And see that, and this is why I would prefer that this base is already connected to that top one. You can see you're just missing it by 1 or 2 tumors, which is the difference between that injection and a tumor. You'll still be completely fine, in my opinion. But
yeah, with a queen there, I think so.
Then maybe +1 range starts now. Get that second gas going. Start layer as soon as you can. And still droning really hard. You got great lane spread out there. You know he's coming towards you. Here he is. Now don't lose that queen. Your other queens aren't moving. Good. Probably should watch these overlords in the future. You should just be killing them.
Phoenix also.
Yep, so now we know exactly what's afoot, so I'd probably put down a spore call on each mineral line. And still be droning hard. You don't have the layer started. I think that is a bit of a mistake. I would have a roach warren by now as well. If he did do some kind of weird huck timing where he comes rumbling out right now, he'd want to have the ability to make roaches to tank that damage.
Right.
Yep, good. And just keep droning hard. And I would probably a macro hatch pretty soon here too. It's going to say a 4th, but you don't want to extend yourself to a 4th versus a 2 base like that. That's too much.
I'm going to start losing overlords, but I got a good cushion.
Like I said, I would probably go with the macro hatch, start to float some money here. Take the gases at your natural. Still don't see the roach warren. I think that's a bit late. Keep that creep going out. You do have the 3 bases connected, but now we want to fight towards creeping towards his half the map. We take advantage of the fact that we know he doesn't have an observer, so he's not killing creep tumors right now. So if you can actually connect to his base, you're now threatening to put him in danger, and you don't want him to get to a 3rd base with this kind of a build. You got drones trailing one at your 3rd, about 6 of them.
Awesome.
I'd throw down a Hydroden and probably even a Spire now as well.
Hydrogen and Spire. That's like super tech.
Yes. It's not the best timing. Like I said, I think you should have had the Roach Warren and then probably comfortably slide into the Hydroden and then the Spire, but I think you're late on all 3.
Why don't he do anything? He's warping in Zealots.
Yep, you can see him now warping in units. That was a fantastic scout. Very good job. So now you need to start making units. +2 weapons going. Good. And I would still be mostly roaches. You know, you're only talking... it's as if there's Colossus out. You do want Hydras, they're great, but it's not like because there's air units you go mostly Hydras. You know what I mean? I think that's a big mistake.
Right.
We're still going to go Corruptors. Corruptors are infinitely better against Phoenix than Hydras ever will be.
Yeah. Agreed.
Got the Overlord spread, or not Overlord spread, but speed. It's good.
Pushing. I don't see a push.
Do not have... Oh, there's the Spore Colony. Okay. And pretty soon I'd probably take a 4th. Because I can just tell you that we're going to get inside the Protoss head a little bit here. This is about the 3rd time. Which is no mistake. You've seen him warp in units. Protoss always expand behind their attacks.
I want to make like 8 Hydras to support these roaches.
I think that's good. Just make sure you have Burrow. That's something you have not started yet. Again, I think that's a bit of a mistake. Inject the natural. Keep your army together.
Creep.
Love the control of both the towers. I'd have your Overlord at his third base location, though, because that's the really key information.
Do I need to have as many Hydras as he has Phoenixes to keep him from lifting me?
No.
Okay.
Nope. You just need to have proper positioning. So mostly Roaches and the Hydras. Yeah. But you need to win the ground battle. That's the thing. That's one of the dangers of this, is that people overreact to the Phoenix. So you can see it right there. He's got about 10 Phoenix.
Yeah, it's a lot of Phoenix.
You need to be rolling out the units right now and converging them with your army. Because you got to be where he is. There's the Phoenix. And every time, so you're going to lose a queen here, or you should have. Your Hydras need to be heading in the direction of where you see those Phoenix. Because the Zerg's all about positioning. You need to have that concave at the top. And here he is. So get up to the top of that ramp right now. Everything you got. I'd send all my rallies there. And you need a concave up there. So you let him up the ramp. Pretty big mistake. Get all your units up there. You've got 2 Corruptors that are not a part of the fight. Zealots are gone. Get some transfusions down. You can. And Zerg production should just crumble this. And see how his Phoenix are dwindling?
Yeah.
They just melt away. That just naturally happens. And that's it. And he will not rebuild those. Protoss will not rebuild that.
GG.
And because he didn't have a third, that was it. I mean, you could have just washed over him continuously. So he should have taken a third there behind that. And then the follow-up to that, and this is an important point, they do not rebuild their Stargate units, first and foremost. We need to know that. He will slowly transition towards Colossus, or he might just go like a Mortal Templar. But after you win that fight, and this is especially important because this is what I coach conversely on the other side of this against 4 Protoss players, if they don't have that third up, you don't macro up there. You do not macro up there. You go kill. It's 3 bases versus 2. He lost the girth of his units, which is the Sentries and the Phoenix.
Right.
Right? Those are the units that give them extra value. It's not the Stalker. It's not the Sentry, or excuse me, Zealot. Those are the basic units. They do not have extra abilities that allow them to be super special. He lost those. Those are the things he'll remake last. And because he didn't expand behind that, he has to expand. So if you allow him that window of opportunity where you're like, okay, I won the fight, now I can expand freely, yes, you'll still be ahead. It certainly isn't a bad thing, but it's an unnecessary risk. It's 3 base versus 2. He's going to have to spend money not only rebuilding his army, but also expanding, which puts him in a hyper-fragile state. You had good creep spread on his half the map. You should finish him off after that.
Right, right. I mean, that was just a big 2 base all in.
Yep.
Was he making units in his base or something? Because I never saw anything.
Yeah, I mean, he walked out a pylon, and he was pretty methodical about it. There's a couple things, like I said, they do differently. They got to expand behind that. And I mean, aside from that, it was pretty good. Maybe they have a few more Void Rays, and a few less Phoenix. And in that case, you have to be careful, too, because if they throw up the force fields and the Void Rays are in the back charging up on your Roaches, that can become a really bad situation pretty quick. I mean, one of the problems we had with that game too, that hopefully you saw, was because he was able to just kind of run right up that ramp, and your army was in the building phase. It was not in the attack phase. Like, you did not have a happy army. You were, if you could have had a minute or two, I think you would have been much more comfortable. You have to be in the proper positioning. So you lost the tower. That's fine, and obviously it's not within reason to say, well, you should have gone and retaken it. Nope, you would have lost the same Zerglings. But you have to know where he is. I mean, if the Phoenix are over there, very few Protoss are going to be dancing around with the Phoenix, and then their army shows up somewhere else.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. That fight felt like it was going to be a loss. I'm kind of surprised. I guess it was just the guys that were building finally showed up.
It's the production, Zerg production. I mean, you've done a great job of building while losing stuff, which I think is a point that merits a mention. I mean, that was one of your problems in the way back in the day, and that's not just you. That's all Zerg players. They want to sit there and micro their army, but really the Zerg strength is getting stuff back into the fight from the eggs. Protoss shields are down, the sentries are gone, and their special units like Colossus or Phoenix are absent. That is when their army is most vulnerable.
Awesome. Awesome stuff.
The Queens need to be used better. I mean, they just kind of came in as an attack move. They should have been transfusing and stuff. That's the only thing. Goes a long way.
Alright, so I guess we'll just fire off another one. I don't know if he's going to do the same thing or not.
Alrighty.
But,
Very good. So maybe one less inject in the early phase if they do the Nexus first. I mean, that's very specific to that.
Mhm.
So that you can get that tumor down so that your base can connect a little bit faster. And then one of the most key things you did that game that's really underrated is you had a Zergling that poked in towards his ramp and saw him warping in Zealots. That was so huge. Because otherwise, I'd advise you to have another round or two of drones, which is like ultra, super, mega greedy. But because you had that information, you shouldn't have done that, which is really good. It's awesome play by you.
And the only reason he's going to make Zealots is if he's going to come attack with them, right?
Exactly.
It's not a unit that you make just willy-nilly.
Right.
Cool. So, this map seems really hard for ZVP.
It can be. It's nice that there's no close positions in the MLG version of this, which you guys are playing, because this becomes a glorified Shakir's Plateau back alleyway right into their base, which is insanely hard in ZVT or ZVP.
Right.
After that, this map's not bad. I mean, one of the dangers of it, of course, is that the Protoss gets easy access to a third, and that third allows them to take a fourth, and the fourth is a high yield. So once they get to their fourth, you're just completely fucked. I mean, even if you have 5 or 6 bases, a Protoss can fuel a super or mega army for, all game long off of 4 bases.
Yeah, that's
so,
the experience I've had.
Yep.
Especially
all that means, though, is that we have to play different.
Right.
It cannot be a Shakir's Plateau or Metalopolis or some of the bigger maps, the newer ones. It has to be, okay, I get my roaches out, and I probably tear down his back rocks at the third preemptively. Even if this was just a pack of Zerglings or something, which allows you to be able to counter there, and it forces more static defenses out of him. Right? But right here, you're pulling up and you're seeing, okay, Forge, Pylon.
So I was going to try to go hatchery first, but he spotted me, so...
Yep.
I think I'll try to be cute and block his expansion. Because I've got the money, because I was saving anyway. Is that a fair trade to make?
Yeah, I think so.
Watch me screw up the Evo chamber. I don't think I can do that with the drone or the probe right there.
It's definitely not as easy, yeah.
But that's okay. I'll just cancel and expand.
Yep, let's just see if I mean, it's super awesome if oh, okay, the can't finish. Yeah, you have to cancel it. You can try, though, because if it dies...
No, I'll just let it go. I'll cancel it at the last second.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
It's cool, though. That's something I'm sure Katz showed you.
Yeah.
So you're taking your second gas.
Oh, no, that was just to make another link.
Oh, okay.
So, bad. I'm going to have all these extra minerals when I cancel this.
Yep, so probably just double expand. Go take the natural at 6 o'clock. Nice.
Oh, my drone's still alive.
You don't have to lose a drone, yeah?
Sweet.
Keep that for a while. Check the tower first, yep. There he is. There's the
Why
probe.
have I not made an overlord in like 5 minutes? I swear I keep pressing V. This level sucks.
So same rules apply, and I just have those blue Clara Zerglings. Like, you don't even worry about the backstructure rocks for you. Those are always accessible. I'd just be chipping away at his backstructure rocks, again, because 2 base, totally fine. 3 base, okay, but would like to have the option of stopping it. 4 base, death.
Oh, I want to just make a bunch of lings and run them past.
try that.